Calling all South Western train passengers, get set for a week of disruption. The RMT union will begin a 5-day strike from tomorrow on services in and out of Waterloo. The walkout is over the ongoing issue of guards on trains. So what will the disruption look like, especially when the schools are on half-term? And will this dispute ever be resolved? Our political correspondent Simon Harris is at Waterloo tonight. Nearly a week of strikes at the country's busiest railway station, Simon.
Nina, this is the 19th strike called by the RMT since the dispute began last November. And in a clear attempt by the union to ratchet up the pressure, this one, as you say, will last for 5 days. South Western reckons between 500 and 600 trains won't run tomorrow and services won't be back to normal until Sunday. Once again, this is a row over the role of guards and the introduction of new trains which have doors that can be operated by the driver. The union thinks the company wants to introduce trains that are only have drivers on board. South Western says that is not true. However, according to the company, the union refuses to discuss any change to the guards' role.
We've tried to engage with the RMT to have rational discussions about how we might be able to enhance our customers' experiences when they travel with us for the benefit of this railway. We all want to see a railway that delivers for our customers and grows our business. They're the discussions that we tried to have with the RMT over the past year or so, and we really want to see an end to this dispute.
The result of this deadlock is that tens of thousands of commuters and other passengers during this half-term week face difficult journeys tomorrow right up until Sunday. And it doesn't stop there. The RMT has also called a series of 24-hour stoppages on Saturdays in November. That will target rugby fans going to Twickenham and, of course, Christmas shoppers. Nina.
South Western train passengers are bracing themselves for 5 days of disruption this week. In just over an hour's time, members of the RMT union will stage a strike on services running in and out of Waterloo, one of the busiest stations in the country. The walkout is over the ongoing issue of guards on trains. Our political correspondent Simon Harris sent this from Waterloo a little earlier.
This is the 19th strike called by the RMT since the dispute began in November, and in a clear attempt by the union to ratchet up the pressure, this one will last for 5 days. South Western reckons between 500 and 600 trains won't run tomorrow and services won't be back to normal until Sunday. Once again, this is a row about the role of guards and the introduction of new trains where the doors can be operated by the driver. The union thinks the company is planning to run trains with just a driver on board. South Western says that's not true, although there might be exceptional circumstances where it happens. However, the company claims the union is refusing to discuss any change to the guards' role.
We've tried to engage with the RMT to have rational discussions about how we might be able to enhance our customers' experiences when they travel with us for the benefit of this railway. We all want to see a railway that delivers for our customers and grows our business. They're the discussions that we tried to have with the RMT over the past year or so, and we really want to see an end to this dispute.
The result of this deadlock is that tens of thousands of commuters and other rail passengers face difficult journeys tomorrow and for the rest of half-term week. And it doesn't stop there. The RMT has called a series of 24-hour strikes on Saturdays in November, targeting rugby fans heading for Twickenham and Christmas shoppers.
The longest strike of the South Western Railway dispute began today, forcing the cancellation of a third of trains in and out of Waterloo and delaying the journeys for thousands of commuters. The 5-day walkout over the role of guards on trains will last until Saturday night. Our political correspondent Simon Harris went out on the morning commute to assess the impact.
It's bad enough being unable to get on a crowded train at the best of times, but on the coldest day of autumn, it made today's commute even more miserable. South Western Railways was expecting to cancel between 500 and 600 trains because of the guards' strike. Early morning passengers at Wimbledon soon discovered what that meant.
The last 2 trains have been packed with passengers only just able to get on, and the next one isn't due for another quarter of an hour.
After 18 strikes in less than a year, regular passengers at least knew what was coming.
Chaos. It's very busy. It's busy on the best of days, so today's going to be really busy.
Do you have any sympathy with the strikers?
Absolutely. I've got a lot of sympathy with the strikers because it's all for a good cause, and they're trying to get rid of guards.
It didn't help that when the train arrived it was only 8 carriages long. Nobody had any illusions about finding a seat, but it could have been worse.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
You got on?
I got on, yeah. We all got on just about.
Piers Shanahan is another seasoned commuter getting used to strike days. What's it going to be like at the next station?
Earlsfield gets very busy, so more people will push on.
Sure enough, at Earlsfield, the lucky ones squeezed into invisible gaps, leaving less fortunate commuters on the chilly platform.
Well, that was an experience and a half, wasn't it? Everyone's shoving everyone all over the place.
This is pretty busy. It's rammed today.
Finally, Waterloo, journey's end, and a chance to get some fresh air and space.
It's hot and crammed.
There's no way to get here for us, so we have to suck it up.
The strike is over the role of guards on new trains where the doors can be controlled by the driver. The RMT refuses to accept the idea of any train running with less than 2 members of staff on board.
If we can guarantee a guard on every service, then we can get to an agreement on some new working practices if that's what the company wants.
Have you chosen to strike this week so your members can have half term off?
No, that's ridiculous. Our members are on the picket lines. Our members are fully involved in the dispute. They chose this week. It's their choice that they wanted to make.
This was day 1 of a 5-day strike for tens of thousands of southwestern commuters. The weekend can't come soon enough.
Simon, day 1 on the train strike, decade 3 on Crossrail troubles, I think. Another key train service coming to the capital. You've got a development on that today.
Yes, it's no secret that Crossrail's in trouble. In the summer, the government was forced to give the project a £600 million cash injection and then announced that the opening will be delayed by almost a year. Well, tomorrow, Transport for London, which will run Crossrail, is holding an emergency board meeting to discuss something urgent about funding. We don't know what that is because the board papers are secret and the meeting's being held behind closed doors. And that has infuriated members of the London Assembly.
For many months, the Transport Committee has called on the Mayor, TfL and Crossrail to be transparent, to be open about what's really going on. We know they've overspent their budget, we know it's going to open late, but they need to meet in public so we can all have confidence in Crossrail going forward.
Last week, the Rail Minister, Joe Johnson, told me that the cost of the project would exceed the £15.5 billion current price tag, but he didn't know by how much. Hopefully, after tomorrow's emergency board meeting, we will be told what it was about.
We shall see. Simon, thank you very much. Thank you. We learnt today the government is preparing a second bailout package to help London's troubled Crossrail project. It's already well over budget and badly delayed and may need yet more funding before it's completed. But exactly how bad the problems are is unknown tonight because both journalists and the public were banned from listening to a key part of TfL's board meeting today, as our political correspondent Simon Harris reports.
It's official, Crossrail needs more money. This was the moment Sadiq Khan confirmed the bad news. At a Transport for London board meeting, the Mayor revealed he's in talks with the Transport Secretary and Chancellor about who's going to pay.
Both Chris Grayling and Philip Hammond recognise we need to work together to find a joint solution to how the additional project costs are funded and financed. We're now at the final stages of pinning down a detailed agreement with the government.
Crossrail's budget was supposed to be £14.8 billion. In July, the project was given a £600 million bailout. But the new price tag of £15.4 billion is set to rise even more. The cash is needed to pay for construction work which wasn't finished on time, like here at Bond Street. It's work which has put the opening of the line on hold.
Almost 2 months after the decision to postpone the launch of Crossrail, there is still 3 big unanswered questions. How much more money will the project need? What will be the impact of the delay on TfL's finances? And when will Londoners get to use the Elizabeth line?
Author Christian Woolmar has just written a book on Crossrail. He thinks construction delays are only part of the problem. The biggest worry is the computer software running the complex system of signals.
There's no fewer than 3 different signalling systems, one in the tunnel, one outside and one in the Heathrow tunnel. And basically they haven't got a train yet that can cope with more than one of them, let alone all 3.
But anyone hoping today's TfL board would reveal how much all this will cost would have been disappointed.
For reasons of market and commercial sensitivity, I'm really sorry. I'm going to have to ask members of the public and press to leave the room.
I would have thought at that meeting there'd have been some indication of what the overruns are going to be, how long it is going to be, what the cost of it is going to be. We learnt nothing today. It's all now being held behind closed doors by someone who claimed to be the most transparent mayor.
Until the building work is finished, the trains and signals can't be tested. And until those tests are successful, the Elizabeth Line's new commuters will have to wait. Transport for London's finance boss described the cost overruns as unfortunate. Embarrassing would be another way of putting it.
So when do you think we will know the actual final bill for all this?
We know that the government and the mayor have hired the auditors KPMG to take a look at Crossrail's own forecasts to see if they're reliable. At the same time, we're told that TfL officials and civil servants have been working on number crunching their own figures to try to come up with a final bill and work out who pays for that. Those should be known to us. We should be told what that is sometime in the coming weeks before December. But of course, that might not be the final bill. The big unknown here is, can they make those signals work so the trains can run seamlessly on the main line through the tunnels and out to Heathrow? If the answer is no, that's going to be very expensive to fix.
Simon, thank you.
Only 3 weeks ago on this programme, we were reporting on the dangers of getting too close to stags in London's royal parks. And tonight, a 7-year-old girl is in hospital after one charged at her. She and her family were apparently taking photos of the animals in Bushy Park in Teddington at the time. Officials there said tonight that while it was an unfortunate incident, it is a powerful warning to everyone to keep their distance from the animals during rutting season. Our correspondent Simon Harris has our top story.
Deer stalking in reverse. For once, the stag is the hunter. A father and 3 children are unaware how much danger they might be in as a deer approaches them from behind. The animal is probably attracted by the smell of the biscuits they're eating. Fortunately, Dad knows what to do. Keep calm and walk slowly away.
I'm sure I'm street aware enough to know what to do, not to run away or panic kind of thing. That's the thing.
Are you aware that a child was gored here yesterday?
I didn't until you turned around and told me, so I wouldn't have bought him out if I'd known that.
The attack in Bushy Park yesterday saw a young girl airlifted to hospital after a stag gored her leg.
A family with some young children approached one of the stags in the park, apparently taking photographs of it at quite close proximity. And the stag behaved defensively towards this, and very sadly, unfortunately, the daughter of the family, who was quite a young girl, was injured with the deer's antlers.
Warning notices at the park in Teddington advise visitors to stay at least 50 metres from the deer.
This is the rutting season, when the stags are at their most aggressive. It's also half-term, when for many families the park with its wildlife is an irresistible draw.
And in an age of smartphones and selfies, temptation sometimes triumphs over common sense.
Did you know a little girl got attacked by one yesterday?
Really? No.
She's in hospital.
Oh, really? We didn't know that. But they just don't look like.
Did you see the signs saying keep away?
Yes.
Hannah Cheels walks through the park every day on her way to work and is horrified at how some visitors treat the deer.
I see people getting very close, trying to take selfies with them, following them. When the animals are clearly running away, they'll go after them to try and take a better photo, and it clearly causes them distress.
And this is what can happen if you get too close. It's a leg wound from a stag in Richmond Park last year.
The impact on my body is like a car crash. That kind of feeling, extremely painful, and it's very, very dangerous. So just keep away.
These are powerful animals with ferocious weapons provided by nature. The warnings are clear, but all too often park visitors are willing to take the risk.
Simon, you've spent the day in the park, and you can see from the people that you were filming, a lot of people just aren't listening to these warnings, are they?
Bushy Park was packed today. It's a lovely warm autumn day, half-term. The car parks were full. An awful lot of parents, grandparents, childminders there with youngsters. I was surprised. Most kept well away, but I was surprised just how many were prepared to go close and disregard that 50-metre rule. Now, stags aren't naturally going to attack humans, but this is the mating season. They are territorial. Granted, most of them are quite tired during the day and they're not going to attack unprovoked, but why would you want to take the risk?
Absolutely. Simon, thanks very much.